Hello, students, and once again, welcome back to your digital classroom. And I hope each one of you is enjoying sound health and good mood. So, students, what do we have for discussion today? Today, we are going to discuss chapter 5 from your textbook Footprints Without Feet. And the chapter is Footprints Without Feet by H.G. Wells. And I am your teacher Kumarjeet Sarkar. So, let us get started. First, we'll take a look at the chapter overview. The story is an extract from the novel named The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. It centers around a brilliant scientist Griffin who had discovered how to make himself invisible. The story narrates certain episodes of how Griffin misuses his discovery for his selfish motives. Students, now let us take a look at the characters. Griffin. He is a brilliant scientist who makes himself invisible with some drug he created. He misuses his power of invisibility and resorts to criminal activities to remain a mystery. Mrs. Hall. She is the owner of the inn at Iping where Griffin stays. She is a resolute, curious and superstitious lady. Mr. Jaffers. He is the village constable, a dutiful policeman. He tries his best to arrest the invisible man but fails. Now students, we will take a look at the events as the story unfolds. Footprints on a street noticed by two boys. Two boys on a street in London were surprised to see fresh muddy footprints of bare feet on the steps of a house. As they were still gazing, fresh footmark appeared. This fascinated the boys as they couldn't find the person making them and they followed the footmarks. However, the footprints soon disappeared. Mystery of the footprints. The footprints had been made by Griffin, an eccentric scientist who had discovered how to make his body invisible or transparent. He had conducted many experiments to prove that the human body could become invisible. Finally, he swallowed some drugs that made his body transparent and solid as a sheet of glass. A lawless scientist. Griffin was a great scientist but a lawless person. His landlord did not like him and tried to evict him from the house. So, Griffin set fire to his landlord's house. To escape from this situation, Griffin removed his clothes and became invisible. Later, he became a homeless wanderer in London without any clothes and money. Griffin hid in a store. Griffin managed to escape from the observation of the two keen boys. As the weather was bitterly cold in London, Griffin decided to slip into a big London store for warmth. The store was closed at night. Griffin wore some warm clothes, shoes, an overcoat, and a hat. He ate cold meat and drank some coffee from the kitchen of the restaurant. He even had some sweets and wine from the grocery store and then went to sleep on a pile of quilts. Griffin gets invisible again. When Griffin woke up the next morning, the shop assistants had already started to arrive at the shop. On being seen, Griffin panicked and started running. As he was being chased, he again took off his newly found clothes. Consequently, he found himself invisible and naked in the chill again. Griffin gets in a theatrical company. Griffin decided to try the goods of a theatrical company. So, he reached Drury Lane and entered into a shop that sold theatrical items. A little later, he came out wearing bandages, dark glasses, a false nose, big bushy whiskers, and a large hat. Then he attacked the shopkeeper and also robbed his money. Griffin reaches Iping. After robbing the shopkeeper, Griffin left London and took a train to the village of Iping. Here, he booked 2 rooms in an inn belonging to Mr. Hall. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, tried to be friendly with Griffin. However, Griffin told her that he had an accident and did not want to be disturbed. Mrs. Hall excused his strange behavior as he had paid her in advance. Clergyman's house gets burgled. Soon the money Griffin had stolen from the theatrical company was finished. So he robbed a clergyman's house. Very early in the morning, the clergyman and his wife were disturbed by some sounds. They heard the clink of money being taken away from the desk. The clergyman silently opened the door and warned the thief to surrender. However, he was shocked to find that nobody was there and the money was missing. Strange things at the inn. On the same day, when Mrs. Hall found Griffin's room open with his bandages and clothes lying around, she and her husband entered the room. Suddenly, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff and the hat near the bedpost was thrown on her face. Then, the bedroom chair was thrown at her legs. Both the landlord and his wife were pushed out of the room. Mrs. Hall felt that the furniture was haunted by spirits as she could not see Griffin. Everyone suspects Griffin. Mrs. Hall blamed Griffin for the strange events while the neighbors blamed him of witchcraft. That means black magic. Soon, the news of burglary at the clergyman's house was spread. Most people in the village felt that the strange scientist was involved in it because he had paid his due rent, whereas earlier he was not able to do so. As a result, the village police constable, Mr. Jaffers, was called. Griffin becomes invisible again. Mrs. Hall went to Griffin and inquired what he had been doing with her chair in the room. She also inquired that how did he come out of an empty room and entered a locked room. Griffin lost his temper and decided to show her everything. He threw off his bandages, spectacles, whiskers, and his false nose. People who had gathered were horrified to see the headless man. Griffin escapes. When Constable Jaffers had arrived, he was surprised to know that he had to arrest a man without a head. Yet he tried to catch him. Griffin removed all that he was wearing to become invisible. Jaffers tried to catch the man he couldn't see, and some people tried to help him. They were hit by blows they could not see. Soon, Jaffers was knocked unconscious and Griffin ran away. So students, that was the story from Footprints Without Feet, the extract taken from the novel The Invisible Man. Now, let us take a look at some of the difficult words. Take care to note the spelling as well when you read these difficult words. As you see, the difficult words have been listed here page-wise. Go through them very carefully. So students, what do we learn from this chapter? This lesson gives us a message that misuse of science and its great discoveries can make even a brilliant scientist like Griffin a monster and a threatening, lawless person. That means, once you get the power, you should never misuse it. If you remember Spider-Man saying in the first movie, with great power comes great responsibility. I hope you all have understood the chapter as well as enjoyed it. So until next time, I wish you all happy learning. You all take good care of yourselves. Bye bye.